Hey sexy kittens, I know that heartbreak can be devastating on us, and I'm here to help you survive that experience with my top 10 tips to help you navigating heartbreak and coming out on the other side even more powerful and glittery and fantastic than you were before. Step number 1. Reclaim yourself. When we're in relationships, we have this inter-influence of our energies and of our wants and our needs. And a lot of times we can get caught up with what the other person needs over our own selves and needs. And so as we make this separation, we get this amazing opportunity to reclaim those parts of ourselves that we suspended for the sake of the relationship. So now let's come back to what are some of the things that I haven't been doing for a really long time because I was in this relationship. What are the parts of me that I love and I haven't been giving attention to because I've been in this relationship? Step number 2, rediscover your purpose. So when we're coming out of the relationship, our mind wants to stay focused on this person and what they're doing and all the positive things that happened in our relationship and all the negative things that happened in our relationship, and we just can't let it go. It's like a drug that we're needing the fix on. But when we can redirect our focus on purpose, then we can take all the energy and all of our attention into this direction and funnel it to achieve something that is bigger than ourselves, that is bigger than this relationship. So come back to that focus. Number 3, clean out your influences. Stop listening to the love songs. Stop watching romantic comedies and dramas, because all of those influences are causing you to think again of your last love. And that's not going to be helpful if you want to be cutting these cords and moving on. So get rid of them. Listen to songs that are empowering. Watch movies that empower you rather than cause you to revert back and replay those old videotapes that we're trying to retire. Number 4, reallocate the time that you have back into the friends and the community who refuel you. And I'm not talking about those friends who are just going to say some shit or just going to remind you of what you don't have, but those friends who make you feel good about yourself. The community that makes you feel supported and a part of something that's bigger than yourself. Come back to those people that maybe we haven't been paying as much attention to when we were in the relationship, because all of our attention and our time and our love went into maintaining this relationship. Number 5, reality check. We want to tell ourselves all these different stories about what happened or what could have happened, but let's be real. It's over. And we have to let go of all the dreams of these potential plans that we created in the future. We have to realize that we are enough, determined by the only person that matters there, ourselves. And ultimately, the work required the equal part of both of us. And it's no longer here. So perhaps it is time to allow ourselves to move on, because it's already exited themselves. We're no longer in resonance with one another, and now we can discover who we have become from that relationship. Number 6, take time to be single on purpose. On my podcast, Eat, Play, Sex, I talked with the Angry Therapist on episode 68, where we talked about the power of choosing to be single and taking that time to discover who you are, what your patterns are, who you keep attracting, so that you can stop the cycle and empower yourself to create what it is that you want. We get super vulnerable in there, and I share with you some of the ways that I used to block intimacy. It's crazy. Number 7, discover the golden lessons that came from that relationship. When you're in a space that you can dip into the past only to glean the gold that exists there, then this experience can become so powerful. Very different than ruminating. We're not going back and blaming and shaming and thinking about all the shitty things that happened. But what we are going back into this is to look and be curious about what we can discover about ourselves that we can then take forward into the future. So questions that we can ask ourselves, how was I blocking intimacy? How was I contributing to the conversations or the fights? Was I able to empathize with my partner, to validate their perspective? Was I adding appreciation? Number 8, write out a love letter of gratitude to this person that was such an important figure in your life at this time. Write out the ways that you grew from this. Write out the things that you're grateful for having learned. And write out and describe this person that you have become because this person was in your life. Write about the things that you loved about this person, the moments that you shared that you appreciate and will treasure. Apologize for those parts that you contributed to the way that this unfolded. We may never send this letter to this other person. In fact, it might not be a safe decision to do so. But by writing this out and being in your own process, this may be the exact closure that you need. And we may never need that other person to be the source of the closure themselves. In fact, if we're expecting this other person to be as introspective as we are, then we may hit up against disappointment because they may not have the ability to go that deep, to the depth that we want them to. So by writing this letter, we create this for ourselves, and we create the opportunity to help us to finally move on. Number 9, dethrone that old partner. It's not fair when we compare the people that we're dating now with this other person. And most of the time, this is an incredibly idealized version of the person and not really the whole picture of them themselves. Number 10, find pleasure in enjoying yourself again. Who can you become as a sexual person, as a person who owns their pleasure and owns their body, not being in that relationship? There was a specific alchemy between you and that person, and you probably discovered some powerful things about you as a sexual being. And now you have this incredible opportunity of freedom from that particular alchemy to discover who you are and your potential moving forward. So take intentional time to be with yourself, to feel yourself, to try out things that you've always wanted to try, but because of that specific container, it wasn't going to be possible. But now you have it, and you're in your own energy, and you can tune into your own needs and your own desires without the influence of another person. Thank God. Your potential is infinite, but only if you're curious and you allow yourself to go there. All right, my sexy kittens, these have been my top tips to helping you navigate heartache. Now I know that you're all experts and you've all been there and you've had the time to experience what have been the best for you. And I want to know what those are. Let's help each other as a community. Share in the comments below, or send me an email with a link to a video about how you have navigated it for yourself. And I want to share this in a separate episode. I'm Dr. Kampmeyer, and this is Sex, Love, Yoga, your survival guide to navigating heartbreak.